kind of seems also you're like struggling with like, what do I believe as far as like religion and spirituality? Like it seems like you're like, I mean, hence like the record's called Awaken. What does Awaken mean to you?
Yeah, and it was like on the nose for me. Like I wasn't trying to hide anything. I tried to make the album title very much on the nose. A lot of the lyrics were very much like easy to. There's a poetic nature to the way I try to write lyrics because otherwise they shouldn't. I think lyrics should always have a poetic nature to them. But
Yes.
but I wanted to make sure anybody reading it could be like, oh, I'm pretty sure I know what he's talking about here, and I had spent all my 20s very, very involved in like Christian theology. I was actually like a theology student. Philosophy and religious studies was a bachelor's degree I got. And so the previous year before Awakened, I had finished my degree in religious studies. And during that process of trying to like defend that point of view, which was the primary reason that I like dug so deeply into it, I realized like I can't in good conscience defend some of these beliefs because I know too much now. You know what I mean? And it was like this kind of okay, well this reshapes what it is that I believe. And I think looking back, there's that shock of my whole moral system being built on because God told me so, and then not, if that's not the case, then like what do I build my life on now? And I feel like that's actually a dangerous thing about somebody who grows up entirely like too religious, so to speak, is that their whole framework is based off of because God told me so. But there are actually great other reasons to have morality. And so for me, like if I were to describe it now, I'm not like anti-spiritual now or anything like that. In fact, like with a lot of people who are Christians, they say to me, what do we believe? And I say, you might not consider me a Christian, but I think we're on the same team with a lot of these things. Like I don't think we're actually as far apart as you might think we are.
Yes.
And what I consider myself versus what somebody else might consider me, like I don't even get into those terms. It's just like foundationally, I think that we've all suffered and felt pain, and if we don't want that in our lives, we should be able to say to another person like, hey, how can I help you like prevent this suffering in your life? Like that true like deep compassion. That's one of the things I think incarceration does for people that are at least able to be mindful of that, is they say, hey, like I've caused other people a lot of pain. I'm in here feeling a lot of pain because of how separated I am from my loved ones in society. I don't want anybody else to have to experience this kind of pain. I don't ever want to inflict that kind of pain on somebody else. And it's really that just that sense of compassion that I think morality can be built off of. And then, if somebody wants to, in addition to that, say, and I believe, that God wants us to live this way. I believe that when Jesus talked about serving the poor and the orphans and visiting people in prisons, I think he was talking about the outcasts of society and helping them. And like those kinds of principles are really beautiful once you also understand your own individual suffering and pain process and how that should really be the driving force.